Hello again, everyone. My name is Etiquette. I'm here for a third time, this time doing some Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. And I'm just going to hop right into this. We're starting a little bit early, but honestly, I could use the buffer of time. All right, so the run that we're going to be doing here, you guys just saw, or you all just saw a different Pokemon Let's Go run today. Also, there was Pokemon Let's Go earlier in the marathon with all obtainable Pokemon, and then the No Evos race earlier today. This run is also not going to be standard any percent or any percent no mount skips or anything like that. This is going to be one player, one controller. So I'll explain what that one go. All right. So this run here is one player, one controller. So during every Let's Go run you will ever see, basically, since 2019, players are going to take advantage of the second controller for both catches and for battles. For catches, it is a really useful thing because it essentially doubles your experience. And for battles, some fights are just straight up faster if you use two controllers, and some fights are a heck of a lot safer if you use two. We're not going to do any of that here. This is going to be completely one controller the entire way through. The only reason I have the second Joy-Con is because it has the home button on it, and if I have to save and reset for something, I need to be able to get to it. I'll have to touch it. So this run is actually what the first 4 months of the game kind of looked like. I'm going to be doing some different things than we did back then, but this game came out in November of 2018. We didn't start allowing two. So we had a solid 3.5, 4 months with just one controller, and you're going to see pretty quickly why we like to use two controllers. So yeah. To start things off, I am running on Eevee. Unlike any percent no mount skips or the other any percent category that no one runs, this is actually not a terribly close, at least the current state of the routes. Obviously, no one's looked at this category really for like, I don't know, years at this point. So we have gotten better as a community. We've gotten smarter. We've learned a lot more things about the game. So obviously strategies could get better. But today in time, Eevee is the superior game for one player, one controller. If you know anything about the normal any percent routes for Eevee and Pikachu, Eevee kind of solos the game anyways. It uses two controllers for some fights, but for the most part, it kind of solos the game. Whereas Pikachu kind of really needs help from its friends. You've got the Nidoking, you've got the Growlithe. Like, there's a lot of ways that Pikachu gets help that Eevee doesn't quite need. Or a better way to put it is not that Eevee doesn't need it, but Eevee can't really take advantage of it. And so we are on Eevee today. The starter's nature does matter. I have a backup file. If you've been following the Let's Go tournament that was on this channel that just wrapped up a couple weeks ago, it's a similar thing. I just have a backup file with a neutral Eevee, so that way I can get on a run and not have to worry about sitting here resetting. Resetting for a starter in this game kind of sucks because the starter's stats are actually determined when you encounter it, not when you pick it up. So you would have to save before the catch tutorial, catch the Pokemon, go through all this, see what your nature is, and then realize, oh, it's bad, let me get a new one. It's like a minute and a half, so we definitely don't want to be doing that. In terms of what are we looking for, I do not want to see minus attack or minus special attack. Minus speed is okay. I would like to not see it, but I wouldn't reset for it. So we'll go ahead and skip the nickname, and then I'll check to see what our stats are. Relaxed. That's totally fine. Relaxed is plus defense minus speed. Like I said, minus speed, not ideal, but we'll manage. So yeah, now that we have our Eevee, we're gonna go ahead and sort of do this is a Kanto game. Everyone knows Kanto, so you'll kind of get the gist of what we're doing here at the start. And while we're doing that, I wanted to I pulled up the leaderboard on speedrun.com. So on speedrun.com, there are a number of ways you can mess with like the filters on the boards. And so you can actually see like what did a leaderboard look like at a certain time. Okay. So like on a certain day, what did the leaderboard look at? So to put into perspective, I'm going to go through the current state of the board as well as what it was like when one controller was banished, essentially. So today in time, on the Pikachu side of things, there are 3 people with a sub 3 time. That is unfortunate. That's fine. There are 24 people. 24 people with a sub 310. And then I'll do 315. There are 31 people with a sub 315. Okay. On the Eevee side, there are 3 people with a sub 3. There are 35 people with a sub 310. And then there are 45 people with a sub 315. If we go back in time to February 8th, 2019, on the Pikachu side, 0 people have a sub 315. It's worth mentioning that the leaderboards were also... I didn't remember this until I looked at it. The leaderboards are actually combined until the 2 controller split happened. So a lot of people, like, I had the best Pikachu time, but I also had a better Eevee time because I preferred running it. And it was faster. But because the games ended up getting split, it bred more competition. But 0 people had a sub 315 on Pikachu. 1 person had a sub 310 on Eevee at all. The world record was by a Japanese runner by the name of Hashed Rice with a 309.15. There were 6 people with a sub 315. So times have changed, absolutely. Sub 3 was a wild dream that no one ever would have expected. We didn't really know exactly how much 2 controller was going to change things. So I just wanted to share that. I thought that was pretty interesting. Okay, so we're going to continue through here. If you notice down below, there is a catch tracker. That catch tracker is going to track the 50 Pokemon I need to catch in order to enter Koga's gym. I can catch any 50 Pokemon. It does not have to be the ones that I already have marked as planned. It's just those are kind of the ones that I'm expecting to catch. But things can happen. I can, catch more than, I can find something that's super rare, or something that's supposed to show up just doesn't show up, and I have to sort of result to a backup. It's kind of the nature of Let's Go runs. Unfortunately, with Let's Go, or with this category specifically, experience is going to be an absolute premium. So any sort of missed Pokemon is going to really, really hurt, unless it's like, if I miss a Zubat, oh no, the 78 experience I was going to get is gone. But for the most part, if I miss a Pokemon, like, it's going to hurt. Yeah, Aber not marked as planned. Aber strats are honestly pretty good. We'll talk a little bit about some of the downsides of Abra, but when we get there. So in an any percent run, you typically see runners catch a bug there if they saw one. The main reason is because before you enter Viridian Forest, there is an extra modifier to the catch rate, and Pokemon are basically guaranteed to stay in. They are not guaranteed; it's like 93% at worst, but that is not really viable in this because I absolutely need the experience from catching a Pokemon at the maximum level. This run is going to make use of lures. Lures are kind of like the opposite of repels, where when you use a lure, you have a certain number of steps, and Pokemon are going to be more likely to spawn. And not just more likely to spawn, but they're going to be more likely, or they're going to be guaranteed to spawn at the highest level in the area, +1. So all the Pokemon here in Viridian Forest are between levels 3 and 6. So if I use a lure, everything will be level 7. All right, so we're going to avoid Pokemon. There is a lure to pick up at the end of Viridian Forest, so we're going to pick that up. I'm also actually going to... trying to decide what to do, because this was not planned, but I think I know what I'll do. Gonna get through here. Answer a question in the chat. What was the characteristic? I did not see the characteristic. All I saw was the nature. I did get a special attack AV, which is a little interesting. AVs are kind of like the EVs of this game, or stat experience from Gens 1 and 2. And essentially every level there is a random stat that gets a +1 to it. That is the very short description of what an AV is. Definitely could try to catch this. This is going to be level 7. This is going to be a tough catch. Unlike other Pokemon games, the Pokemon's level matters in the catch rate. Well, technically it's not the level, it's the CP, the combat points, which are based on the stats of the Pokemon. So the higher the level, the higher the stats. So a level 7 Pikachu is a little bit scary. Yeah. Okay. You're going to see me doing a lot of waiting like this, more so than you would see on a normal any percent run. It's because the experience is so important that I just want to make sure I'm hitting excellence on everything. Not just the experience, but the catch rate of the Pokemon. So 86 experience, that is phenomenal. You do not know how good it is to get an extra 86 experience that I was not planning on, even if it took a bit. Go ahead and catch this. Raspberries make Pokemon more likely to be caught, so we're going to be using a lot of them. Way more than you would see in a normal any percent run. And unfortunately, even with raspberries, especially early on, before we get Great Balls, these catch rates are not great. Like that Caterpie, the weakest Pokemon of the bunch, right? With a raspberry and getting an excellent throw, that is an 83% catch. So, it is... expect a lot of breakouts. Yeah, that's all I can say. I mean, in terms of the catch rate and CP combination, Caterpie and Weedle are the weakest Pokemon. Speaking of Caterpie and Weedle, I do actually have to catch a Weedle. I could get one outside, actually. Let's do this. Is that Weedle new? It's also throughout this section pretty important for us to get to level 10 on the Eevee. Even with all of these first balls, I may not actually hit level 10, so I may have to go out of my way and catch like a Rattata or a... Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go outside and catch a Weedle outside. I think that's the best play. I already fought him, you doofus. Pokemon that have glowing swirls around them. Like there were a couple of Pokemon there. That Rattata also has a glowing swirl. Those Pokemon will give either 50% more experience or 300% more experience. Wow, this is a pretty bad Route 2 roulette. The Pokemon out here on Route 2 can spawn up to level 9, which is why we didn't catch the Weedle in the forest and are instead catching one out here. This is pretty bad luck. I'm just hoping that these like micro steps aren't gonna waste my lure before I get it. Oh my god. There we go, finally. And then if the Weedle does not give me enough experience, I will catch the Pidgey there. Especially if I get a Great, so there you go. That was real bad. I wouldn't have gotten enough experience anyways. But yeah, so I basically went through all the Pokemon that I planned to catch in the run. And wrote out and basically calced out their catch rates with the worst possible CP value. Or I guess best CP value, which gives you the worst catch rate, whatever. And so we'll be referencing some pretty bad catch rates shortly. Don't worry. Luckily, after we beat Brock, which is what we're about to go do after we catch this Pidgey, we are going to be getting Great Balls, and Great Balls massively increase the catch rate for Pokemon. A Pokemon that is like a 66% chance becomes basically guaranteed. It is quite absurd. We're going to go ahead and teach Double Kick. This is the main reason we needed Eevee to hit level 10. If we allowed 2 controllers, I wouldn't have to hit level 10. I could do some sort of 2-controller fight with a Bellsprout and the Eevee. But unfortunately, Bellsprout alone isn't going to be strong enough to take out the Brock's Pokemon, and Eevee does need something it can use. 1P, 1C, no berries? No. Trust me when I say no. The biggest struggle, honestly, is going to come when we get to Rock Tunnel. Rock Tunnel is like on the cusp of being too high level for not having Ultra Balls. Like, you do not have access to Ultra Balls. You cannot have access to Ultra Balls until you're through Rock Tunnel. Technically halfway through Rock Tunnel, but whatever. And the Pokemon there just do not want to be caught with just Great Balls. every single Pokemon, even with a Raspberry, is worse than 75%. Every single Pokemon in Rock Tunnel. Thank you for the good luck. Because I'm minus speed, the Onix is going to outspeed me here. It's generally not too bad. Headbutt. And Headbutt can flinch. However, so we are good to go. Pretty rough start, all things considered. However, yeah, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. All right. So like I said, after we get access to Great Balls, things are going to be a lot easier. We're going to go through Mount Moon. Mount Moon's going to be our next big catching section. Well, we wanted to hit level 10 before Brock in order to be able to have Double Kick. The next big threshold we want to hit is 15 before Misty. And that is actually a hard requirement. You cannot enter the gym without a Pokemon that is level 15 or higher. And so we desperately need to get enough experience. It is very likely we do not get enough experience in order to fight Misty. However, we can delay Misty a little bit. It's not the end of the world. First, we're going to go do this shop. So in this shop, like I said, we do not want Pokeballs anymore. So I'm actually going to sell all of them. And then we're going to buy ourselves a few Great Balls and then a few X items and healing items. If you are watching the PSR Marathon, you probably know what X items are, but if you do not, they allow you to boost the stats of your Pokemon. In this generation, they are 2 stages. So by using a single X attack, we are going to double our attack, which is very, very handy. We'll be buying way more X items later, but this is going to get us through the early game. And then just some random assortment. I say random, it's planned, but an assortment of healing items that will allow us to heal off any status ailments. We don't have to worry too much about our health at this stage. Nothing can really damage us a ton. And the potions we have that were actually given for free are good enough until we have to get super potions later on. We're going to avoid that. And I would catch a Rattata, not a Rattata, in Ekans if I see one. But sadly do not see one yet. Wait for the spinner. There's one. So we're going to be waiting for the attack. Very good. Ekans is not a planned Pokemon. That is just a straight up bonus. So we definitely like to see that. I wasn't planning on evolving Bellsprout, because the utility of having a second Pokemon with you is not as important in this category as it is in no mount skips. However, there's a chance. No, that's a lot of. No, I'm still not going to evolve Bellsprout actually. Okay, so we're going to pick up the free Magikarp. Magikarp is the absolute fastest Pokemon you can get in the entire game. Even counting the load transitions, getting into the Pokemon Center and getting out, it is just faster than everything else. Magikarp is cheating. Fair. I apologize. We're going to deposit everything that we're not planning to evolve. Every time a Pokemon gains a level, it's about 2 seconds. If it does not learn a move, if it does learn a move, it's even more. And so just getting unnecessary things out of our party is ideal. I was about to say that, Spider. I'm like, technically the category is not no mount skips, so I could just pull out the mount skips at the end if I want to save 4 minutes. We'll see. Maybe I do 1 for the fans. So my Eevee is a little bit low on the attack side of things. The starter Pokemon are always have 31 IV in every single stat, so the only difference really is the nature. However, with those AVs I mentioned earlier, every starter you're going to have is going to be a little bit different because those random +1s will go into various stats. Thank you for the raid. All right, so we're going to come down here and get Moonstone, as well as that nugget right there. I'm going to catch this Geodude. Good. Geodude can be tough to get an excellent on, especially if it does that cycle where it attacks when the circle is its smallest rather than in the middle. We got lucky there. 522, that is phenomenal. That essentially, especially with the fact that there's a Clefairy on screen, that basically solves our experience problems for this part of the run. We still want to get as much experience as possible, but that is incredibly lucky. So we don't know the exact odds, but it is believed that a glowing Pokemon has about a 10% chance to, instead of giving a 1.5 times multiplier, it gives a 4 times multiplier. And so that's what we saw there. Dynam, it's not worth it. I was doing a practice earlier, and I saw a Chansey, and I just went right past it. Exactly. All right, so we're gonna grab the nugget. We're gonna sell that for 5,000 later. I'll grab the Paris here. Both Geodude and Paris have good enough catch rates that you don't need to worry about a Raspberry. The Clefairy, on the other hand, we are going to need to Raz it. It's still a pretty good chance with the Raspberry. It's 88%. And of course, there's a glowing Paris. It is possible that you can gain like even more experience by like chaining Pokemon. I will never chain Pokemon in this category, but I suppose if you're like super strapped for experience, you could like catch like 3 Geodudes or something. But yeah. So that's a pretty good Mount Moon. And let's see. That is more than enough experience to make sure that I hit level 15 before we exit here. And I am effectively done with catching things here. Even if I see the other rarer Pokemon, I will not be catching them. Would it make sense to consider evolving more pokes in this category? Generally speaking, yes. However, with what experience? The 2 test runs I have done, I have been level 23 exiting Mount Moon. Or not Mount Moon, exiting Rock Tunnel. And it's not like I'm like missing a lot of Pokemon. It's just, you just don't get the experience. Like that's why I'm not evolving Bellsprout, because it will not hit Weeping Bell in like a reasonable amount of time. That's why I've got like Machop and Cubone marked, but not their evolutions. How did I not consider... Listen. I did not consider this a meme run. However, because I was put in the meme block, you're going to see some stuff. That's all I'm going to say. Is things will happen. Minds will be blown. Unironically, by the way, in all of my sort of routing and stuff for this, which I will admit now, can get it on the record, I am not as prepared for this as I wanted to be, or as I think I should be. So, however, in the preparing that I did do, I think this could be really, really exciting if people actually like rallied behind it and gave it a try. It is frustrating to run. I did the DK64 randomizer.com qualifier for the season 3 tournament earlier today. And then after that, I was like, I'm going to run through the Eevee section, the catching stuff basically. Just so I have a good handle on things. I had 12 breakouts before Brock. So shit happens. Sorry, I didn't mean to curse. But things happen. And this can be a very frustrating run. But I do think there's a lot of potential with this category. I think that, like I said when I sort of introed the run, this style of play wasn't really given a fair chance because we only had it for like 4 months before we allowed the second controller. But I do think that I think it has potential. Anyways, here's a little deviation from normal any percent. I'm going to go ahead and use an X attack on this fight. Generally, I'm not expecting to be level 14 right now, and 14 is honestly like on par with where you are in normal any percent. But because I bought the extra X attack, can't hurt to use. Minus speed means I'm outsped by that Voltorb. It gets an extra chance to paralyze me. I did buy Paralyze Heals early. These stats are not bad, to be quite honest. Both my attack and special attack are on the high side, I would say. All right. We're going to we're going to pick up the fossil here. I do have the fossil Pokemon listed as planned. That is just because catching Pokemon in this category sucks. Ideally, you would probably sell the fossil, but for the sake of this run, I do plan on getting the fossil. Unless I happen to get a bunch of bonuses, in which case I can skip it. I tried. I tried to match the color scheme the best I could. So hopefully it does look good. All right, so Jesse and James here, we're going to go ahead and X attack and headbutt the coughing. That is unfortunate that we missed that range. I do have 36 attacks, so I am over 50% to either hit the range or get a flinch, and I did not get that, so unfortunate. And with that, we are out of Mount Moon with a clean 15 Pokemon. Honestly, pretty high Pokemon count. But we'll absolutely take that. The one thing that's a little bit awkward with this Pokemon count is the fact that I did catch Pidgey. Normally, you want to try to catch Pidgey when it can evolve at least once, if not twice. But I needed to catch it early for the experience, so that is what we're dealing with. In normal any percent, you would probably just elect to catch Pidgeotto later on, because Pidgeotto is not that bad of a catch. But in this category, I'm not doing that. Kabuto on the tracker would be pretty wild if I was doing the old Fossy Posse. All right, so we're going to go ahead and learn these 3 broken moves for Eevee. We've got Bouncy Bubble, which is 90 base power water move that is Absorb. We've got Buzzy Buzz, which is a 90 base power electric move that always paralyzes. And then we have Sizzly Slide, which is a 90 base power fire move that always burns. We will be using all of those effects on purpose over the course of the run. Like, it's not like they're useless side effects. All of them will have their uses. In fact, the first one is going to be on Misty, coming up here. Yeah, Koga, in order to get into Koga's, basically every gym is going to have a requirement to enter it. The requirement to enter this gym is to have a Pokemon of at least level 15, which we do. And the requirement to enter Koga's gym is to have 50 Pokemon registered in the Pokedex. So, on the tracker here, below my face, we will be hovering right around 50 Pokemon planned. Right now I've got 51. It doesn't really make sense to, like, fine-tune it until after, like, Rock Tunnel or so. Because really anything can happen for the first hour and change of the game. It sounds tedious for speedruns, but it honestly is what makes this game incredibly fun to run. And it's a lot of people's favorite game in the series for speedrunning. You can enter Koga's gym without 50. That is fair. Yeah, Pikachu used dig strats for the first 6 months of 2-controller being allowed. It didn't start using all the friends and stuff until the record was down to like a 304. Alright, so for Misty here, we're going to go ahead and use the next special. Because it's +2 stages, that is going to double our special attack. Then we're going to go ahead and take out the Psyduck, and then the Starmie is a 2-shot. However, the Starmie also outspeeds us, which would be pretty bad, because even though we 2-shot Starmie, Starmie can also 2-shot us. However, we are gifted by the fact that Buzzy Buzz always paralyzes, meaning the Starmie is now mega slow, and we're able to outspeed on turn 2 for the KO. All right, so so this part of the run right now is going to be identical to what you see in any percent. I'm the right level, and there's no 2-controllering for this whole section, so enjoy Hangman Bridge. Actually, there is going to be one small detour here. This route is going to use a couple more rare candies. Like I said, this is, if you went back on the leaderboards and looked up what the record was and stuff back in 2019, before we allowed 2 controllers, you would not see a lot of this route. A lot of it would be the same, but there's going to be a lot of things that are going to be a bit different. Grabbing this candy is one of them. We are going to need a few more rare candies than normal to do some strats. Here's our rival. So in the Cerulean section, I did mention earlier that if I was not level 15 when I exited Mount Moon, I'd be able to delay Misty. Basically, in order to leave Cerulean City, you have to both beat Misty and free Bill. And so you can technically do them in either order. It is optimal for movement purposes and for HP management purposes for you to fight Misty first and then do Nugget Bridge and Bill second. But you could do it in the either order. If you have to do this fight at level 14 because you have just not gotten enough experience, this fight can be a little bit of trouble. Getting outsped there is very unfortunate. All right, we're good. That's the minus speed coming into play. That is basically the last spot that minus speed is going to matter. Catching Squirtle. I took one look at the Squirtle catch rate and was like, no, I'm not even writing it down. Yeah. For the sake of this run, I think for like PB attempts, if this ever became a category, which again, I think it kind of deserves a spot. Especially like it's a part of the history of the game, you know. I think you could justify doing catches like that, catching a Chansey in Mount Moon, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, for the sake of this run, anything that's less than 80% scares me. All right, so here's Bouncy Bubble. Bouncy Bubble, like I said, is essentially water absorb. It heals back half of the damage it deals. So even though we're at like kind of low health going into Nugget Bridge, we will be at full health coming out. Also, I will say, so many things came back to me when I was looking at this route. Like, a good example is there's a Pokemon that it spawns on both the route above here and on Route 6 that we used to actually catch quite a bit. Psyduck can actually spawn on both of those routes, and it's a decent chunk of experience. However, the modern way of playing involves delaying Psyduck until Route 17. Because on Route 17, you can catch Psyduck at level 39, and it evolves in a single level, so you get 2 Pokemon while you only catch 1. And it's one of those things that's like, that's so obvious. Like, why didn't we always do that? And the reason, I'm pretty sure, is because you could always use that extra experience. especially on Route 6 when it's lured. Like, it's just... The amount of experience that you get starved in this run is just wild. It's going to be basically the theme of the run until we're out of Rock Tunnel, basically. All right, my special attack is pretty good, so I should be able to one-shot this coughing. It's probably a range, but it's a pretty good range. I'm more likely to one-shot the coughing than I am to flinch with headbutt. So. All right, so in addition to Psyduck, there are 2 other Pokemon that can spawn here that are worth catching. I'm not going to go up there for only one. And honestly, my experience is kind of okay for right now anyways. If I'm going to catch a Psyduck, I'd rather get it on Route 6. So final 2 Pokemon. And we will make our way over to Vermilion City. Right. Oh wait, no, that's not it. Oh, yeah, I got it. All right. Congrats, Dynam. I got it at the same time you typed it. All right. So, heading out of Cerulean here. Route 6 is going to be our next big, I'm going to put in quotes, catching section. Ideally, we come out of Route 6 at level 18. Actually, ideally, we come out at level 19. That is pretty unlikely. So if we can hit 18 at least, that's good. The real kicker is you want to be level 20 on Route 9 when we come back with Cut. But my stats are decent enough that I feel like I should be fine either way. A lot of times in these like no reset marathon run situations, I like to pick up those Nanab berries. Nanab berries basically prevent the Pokemon from attacking and prevent the Pokemon from moving on the screen. However, you can only have one berry active at a time. And generally speaking, Raspberry is going to trump all when it comes to this category. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pick up the middle item here. There are 3 money items always here in the underground. The first one and the last one are random between 4 different items: Pretty Wings, Pearls, Big Pearls, and Nuggets, where the middle one is always a nugget. So we only pick up the middle one because if this was Scarlet Violet, where you don't actually like stop when you pick up an item, then we would probably just pick all 3 of them up. But because it does take time, we just take the 1 guaranteed nugget and call it a day. And go ahead and catch this Vulpix. Vulpix and Jigglypuff are the main Pokemon that we want to catch here. We will be razzing both. With a Razz, this is like an 84% catch at worst. So, by no means guaranteed, but it is on the likelier side. All right, so there's level 18. If I don't catch anything else, I should be fine. But we're going to go up here and grab a rare candy. I'm also going to grab this super potion. And you might be, if you know the Let's Go route, you're like, why are you grabbing a super potion? You're about to go buy a super potion and buy a bunch of them. And the reason is because, actually, no, I'm not. I am going to do this shop. However, I'm going to be delaying the shop until after the SSN. Okay. Jigglypuff is weird. This is only like a 70% catch, but it was jumping. All right, we're good. A prediction for anything? You could do an over-under on 10 breakouts before exiting Rock Tunnel. I am keeping track of the number of breakouts, and I'm currently at 1. So that I think could be a good one. I'm also taking a slight detour here. There's nothing nefarious happening here. So nobody get any weird ideas. It's just, this is just another place to catch Pokemon. That's it. There's nothing suspicious happening. Now we're going to go to the SSN. This is like the first fight difference that you will see. Up until now, the fights have all been the exact same as you normally do in any percent. However, this fight's going to be a bit different. So what you generally do on this fight is you bring out your second controller and you use the Eevee while using X items as your partner Pokemon. And then Eevee one-shots the Pidgeotto with Buzzy Buzz, one-shots the Pikachu with Headbutt, and one-shots the Oddish with Sizzly Slide. But that's only really possible because you've got the partner Pokemon giving you X items as you go. Now, every Pidgeotto that we see of our rivals is going to have Sand Attack, and that is just awful to deal with. So, because we're doing one controller and we cannot one-shot the Pidgeotto, generally speaking. We're instead going to use a guard spec that I picked up on Route 6, and we're going to use the guard spec that I picked up on Route 6, and then set up basically to sweep with only one controller. So let's see how this goes. I also don't like to encourage bad behavior, but technically, Butterfree is catchable in Let's Go Pikachu. Anyways. That is too low. So I'm going to use this Super Potion. Because Pikachu basically does 10 per hit with double kick without a crit, so I was exactly dead. And yeah, that is it for Rival 3. So like I said, that is the first fight that is different between any percent and this one controller run. And luckily it went pretty well. Alright, so now we're gonna go get the secret technique chop down from the captain here. The secret techniques are the replacements for the HMs. And unlike HMs, they do not require any badges to get. As long as you have the technique, you can use it. And so we're going to use that to our advantage and basically not fight another gym for a while, because we're going to delay... we'll be able to use like moves like Fly and Strength and... Well, you never use Strength, but... and Surf without getting those badges, because you don't need them. Also, when you get cut, all the Pokemon trainers in the SSN turn off. I guess they don't want you to Death Warp off of the boat, so you just snag that nugget instead of having to fight 2 trainers for it. And now is when I will do my shop. I basically wanted that extra money item, and it's the most consistent way to do it. This shopping is going to look a little bit different than normal any percent. We're going to be buying all the same items, it's just the quantities are going to be very, very different. I will say, Butterfree was pivotal to me doing my damageless run of this game. All right, so we're going to buy some lures here. We're going to buy repels. These are not necessarily to get through areas without Pokemon. It's because you can use a repel and then use a lure immediately to like respawn the Pokemon on a route. So one major difference here is we're buying X speeds early. We need an X speed for Rival 4, the rival fight right after Rock Tunnel. And if we're buying 1 X speed, we may as well just buy all of them that we need for the rest of the run. Okay, so way back at the beginning of the run, I set my clock to be, it was like 11:05 p.m. And that is because there are certain items that respawn daily, like this rare candy. That is not guaranteed to respawn, so if that did not respawn, I was going to go ahead and date advance to make it spawn, but that was really cool. In normal any percent, we use that trick to try and get 2 moonstones rather than 2 rare candies. But the extra rare candy was definitely kind of needed for me. Okay. All right. Happy almost 1 hour. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna not menu before this fight. I'll menu before the next fight. Oh, this is I'm ahead of my 2019 PB. I'm just gonna say. I have an extra Pokemon, and I'm 23 seconds ahead at Rival 3, and my PB probably shopped. So, I'm very happy. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and use a guard spec. This Eevee has Growl and Sand Attack, which are both pretty bad. That was a lot of damage. I think I should be fine. One P, 1C means one player, one controller. Generally, with Let's Go runs, you use 2 controllers, but I'm only going to be using 1 for the run. By only having 1 controller, it makes catches less bountiful when it comes to experience. It makes catches less likely to stay in, and it also makes some fights more dangerous, and some fights slower. It is pretty brutal, actually, overall. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and deposit a bunch of Pokemon. And then I'm going to go ahead and use Lure. I was debating healing, but I should be fine. Being level 19 for this Sandshrew, the Sandshrew is not guaranteed to die. My special attack is on the high side, so I feel like I should be fine. But if I do get Sand attacked, then that could be pretty bad. Good. Buzzy Buzz here. This is going to make the Eradicate slower than us, and also, and then we're going to headbutt. Classic paralyze flinch hacks. And we are through Route 9. Route 9, honestly scary, and Route 9 is one of the reasons why Eevee is like better at this category than Pikachu is. Pikachu has no way through the Sandshrew. So you'd have to figure out some other strategy that isn't using Pikachu. And the traditional way that you do that fight is with partner Growlithe that you use an X special attack on. And that also won't work because Growlithe would also get demolished by the Sandshrew. Okay, so Route 10. Route 10 is a very important route. We want to catch a lot of Pokemon here. We got a good start. All of these Pokemon are going to require a Raspberry in order to catch. Just to make them more likely. They are all roughly 70 to 73% without Raspberries. And so with Raspberries, they're a little bit over 80. You'll also notice that I waited a little bit before running into the first Pokemon. I haven't talked about it yet, but essentially Pokemon, or the wild Pokemon, there is a mechanic called catch chaining, where when you catch a Pokemon, you get benefits if you catch the same Pokemon over and over again. And I guess to try to incentivize you to do so, the game also rewards you with you'll see that Pokemon in the wild more often. Basically, in addition to like the normal encounter slot, there's an extra like 10% that you see that Pokemon. And so by letting things just spawn, come back here, buddy. It was not worth it, but like it was, oh my god. But yeah, by waiting before running into the first Pokemon, I'm able to get everything that could spawn like naturally first, and then I start influencing the catch rate by catching something. It almost ran past the spinner. I would have had to wait for the spinner. And this is a phenomenal Route 10. There are 5 Pokemon that you would like to see, and I saw 4 of them. So I am very pleased with this. In standard any percent, you would sometimes catch like the Nidorino or a Raticate or something like that to get the extra experience. But those catches, even with a Raspberry, it's like 60%. They're not worth it. All right. There was one more Pokemon that could have spawned, so I figured I'd wait, but we did not see it. All right. We are now heading into the dreaded Rock Tunnel. Now, I alluded to it earlier, but there is not a single Pokemon other than Zubat, but don't worry about Zubat. The main Pokemon I plan to catch, every single one of them with an excellent throw, Great Ball, Raspberry, is 74% or lower. The best chance you get is 74%. Now, halfway through Rock Tunnel, we're going to fight an Ace Trainer, and the Ace Trainer will give you 5 Ultra Balls. So we can then switch over to Ultra Balls and increase our catch rate. But A, you would really like to catch Pokemon before that trainer. And B, you only have access to like 13 total Ultra Balls like in the run at all. So using that one or using them early is kind of something you don't want to do. You want to delay switching to Ultra Balls as like much as you can. All right, you can get a couple more in Mansion, but like hopefully it doesn't come to that. Because for the sake of the marathon, I'm gonna go ahead and not catch that. I was gonna see if Krabby would spawn. Okay. I'll take a great. Okay. It's 30% could be worse. I mean, technically correct. All right, so here in Rock Tunnel, there are 5 Pokemon we would like to catch. 2 of them you would normally evolve in any percent, but I am going to not evolve because they are pretty long evolutions, and you just don't get enough experience to really evolve them in time. One of them is Zubat, which will evolve in 1 level. One of them is like very necessary because it is going to be our mobility. There are Pokemon you can ride in the game, and Rhyhorn is the first fast one that you can obtain. So we definitely want to catch a Rhyhorn. Rhyhorn is pretty bad odds to get into the ball, even with a Raspberry. But, hopefully we get there. And then the final Pokemon that we would like to catch is Graveler. Graveler is a really big experience bomb. The problem is, with one controller, that Graveler is not very likely to get in. So we're going to hope we get it. But at the same time, the experience is going to be a little bit less important than it would be in any percent. So there's a breakout. This is kind of expected. Like I said, every Pokemon, that was like a 73% chance. That was 62 when it got in, so. Just sort of the luck of the draw here. There's our Rhyhorn. And it's glowing. That is pretty good. Rhyhorn is decent experience. So if we can get this first ball, this will be very nice. I'm running out of raspberries, too. So when I originally proposed the prediction, I meant end of Rock Tunnel. But if you would like to do it now, because if that's what it was worded, then yes. We only have 3 breakouts right now, so... Well, it depends on how it was worded, because if people voted thinking one thing, then... Well, here, since we're already in Rock Tunnel, let's make it a little bit more spicy. Let's do... do by the end of the run and say 15. Oh, come on. Do 15 by the end of the catching section. Also, missed throws like that don't count. It's a breakout. Greta, can you cancel the current prediction, please? I could, but I can't see half of chat right now. So. Also, I've been slacking at marking. Yeah, do 14.5 breakouts over under by the end of the run. We are currently, for the sake of transparency, we are currently at 3. But I've been complaining about the catch rates of stuff already. And I still have plenty more catching to do, so... So, like, don't let the small number, like, fool you. We all used to get excited when we had less than 10 breakouts in a run, which didn't happen that often. Omastar catch gonna go hard, yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and replace Pokemon. And we're going to evolve the Nidorino. Unlike any percent, I can't use Nidorino as my partner, or Nidoking as my partner, but I am going to use it for one fight just because it's faster than everything else. So it's going to stay in our party for a little bit. And then I've been awful at marking Pokemon. Oh my god. If anyone sees a Pokemon, by the way, on the tracker that I have not marked, please let me know. That kind of backseating is totally okay. This Kangaskhan here is going to outspeed me, both because of my low level and the fact that I am minus speed. It is normally not an issue, however, it does have Bite, so if it starts flinching us, things could get pretty bad. We do have Super Potions, so we should be fine. Alright, we got Comet Punch. Good. I think a Cubone was... No, it was a Geodude. Okay. It was a small Dust Cloud. That's a Cubone. And with that, I mean, assuming this gets in, it's by no means guaranteed. This is 74%. Okay. That is the last thing I plan on catching here in Rock Tunnel. So I'm going to throw up my Repel, I think. Deposit this. Actually, I'm gonna bring this in. Again, for no particular reason, nobody look at it. We'll play safe. I'll do 2 of these. Okay. I do want to keep 1 Repel for Route 17 if I absolutely need it. So I need to not re-up this Repel. Oh, I hear thunder outside. Garf? I think I heard some like a little bit ago, but this is the first one I've definitely heard. All right. I'm going to save for this fight. Because I can't use 2 controllers as a backup, this fight is a bit scary. This fight. Oh, and I'm minus speed. Am I outspeeding the Vulpix? I don't know if I'm outspeeding the Vulpix. Okay, so the way this fight's supposed to go is X attack, headbutt, headbutt. The Vulpix has Flamethrower, which it will always use. Nice crit. It did not burn me, though. That is ideal. Oh, it gets to go twice. Oh, I'm so dead. There's no way I live 2, right? I do live 2. All right, cool. Psybeam also has a 10% chance to confuse you, so that was the danger there. And then gonna go into this last fight here in get out of the way, idiot. Yes, as Iron has said in chat, I now have Ultra Balls. I'm not planning to catch anything else here in Rock Tunnel, so we won't see them for a little bit. What's the next speed? That's fine for like X item count, but it's annoying because I have to heal. I would have been fine. Right. So we are out of Rock Tunnel now. Do Pokemon Tower. Pokemon Tower, another fight that is traditionally done as 2-controller. The standard way of doing this fight is you 2-controller it with Rhyhorn as your partner. You X Special and Buzzy Buzz turn 1. And then depending on what Pokemon comes out next, you can either X Attack and Drill Run if it's Raichu, or you can X Attack and Sizzly Slide if it is Eevee. And then you can essentially do the reverse on the 3rd turn. However, can't 2-controller, so this is going to be kind of similar to the Rival 3 fight, where we're going to set up a guard spec turn 1 just to avoid getting sand attacked. I'm then going to set up 2 X attacks as well as an X speed, and then I should be able to one-shot everything. There is a chance, because I'm not level 25, that the Gloom. Something might live. I don't remember what. I'll figure it out, though. It's not really going to change my strategy at all. It's just something to be aware of. Okay. But yeah, so that should be it for this section. Hitting level 25, of course, right after the fight. All right, so we're going to go ahead and escape rope out of the tower. And the next fight that we do, we're actually going to use Nidoking for. There is a fight against a Clefairy. And generally, Eevee is going to 2-shot it, which leads to the potential for Metronome, which we would obviously like to avoid. So luckily, Nidoking has Poison Jab, which will just 1-shot the Clefairy. So let's go ahead and swap this to the front. And then escape rope out. But actually, now that I say something, we do have a small little detour to take before we go fight this Clefairy trainer. This is not something you would have seen in the 2019 run. This is something that I personally do in all obtainable Pokemon. I know not everyone does, but it is time. I would love to trade my Diglett for your Diglett with hair. So this is a Alolan Diglett. Alolan Diglett. It comes in at level 25, which is 4 levels away from learning Earthquake. So we're going to go ahead and teach it Earthquake and then steamroll, absolutely steamroll the Rocket Hideout section. But first we gotta get through this beauty. Unfortunately, like, the dramatic reveal would have been better if it was, like, after this fight, because I had to explain this, but whatever, it doesn't matter. Yeah, get rid of the Clefairy. Up! You never look up! Oh my god. I don't know how I didn't hit that spinner. He's never looked up before. Ever. The timing was different because I went to the center after the cutscene, yeah. It's... Oh my god. All right. Nice Kadabra. All right, so even though we are not using Eevee primarily for Rocket Hideout, we do want to go ahead and teach Glitzy Glow here. Glitzy Glow is a 90 base power psychic move that sets up a light screen. So we're going to go ahead and teach that over Sizzly Slide. And then we're also going to set Modest. So there are no abilities in the game, which means the ability Synchronize does not exist. And so in order to make up for that, Game Freak put in this lovely lady here, Madame Celadon, who you can pay 10,000 Pokédollars in order to set the nature of every Pokemon you encounter in the wild for the rest of the run. Or for the rest of the day, I should say. And so, for the rest of the day, we're going to get Modest Pokemon. And then it starts. So I should have 4 rare candies, which I do. And Diglett evolves at level 26. However, Diglett specifically learns Earthquake at level 29, not Dugtrio. Dugtrio doesn't learn it until like level 36, something like that, which is far too high for us. So we do have to cancel our evolution a few times. Let me do this. This attack stat is very good. Oh yeah, I'm plus attack. Okay. That's gonna come in handy for sure. I was just mashing B again. That would have been tragic. And here they are. The lovely Alolan Dugtrio. There's really no benefit. I mean, okay, there is a benefit, but we don't use Alolan Dugtrio like over Cantonian Dugtrio for any real reason other than the fact that you can catch Diglett at level 19 and trade it for a different Diglett at level 25. Like, you don't have to sit through all of those level ups. And in a category with experience as strapped as this is, you know, that Diglett would not be level 25 by now. So we're gonna take advantage of this. There's the Zubat evolving. Honestly, okay. Yeah, I'll do that. Routing on the fly. You cancel the evolution 3 times. You have to cancel at 26, 27, and 28. Who remembers the Game Corner music from the Let's Go tournament? I sure do. Listen to that on repeat for like an hour when I was setting up the slots. But yeah, so Earthquake at this low level is super, super nice. It is obviously not a guaranteed one-shot on everything. However, it is quite powerful, and it's specifically really good because throughout this section, we're going to come across a lot of poison Pokemon. And because there are no abilities in the game, a Pokemon like Weezing, which would normally have Levitate, doesn't. And so it's just going to get completely obliterated by it. The one thing we have to be a bit careful of, and I haven't referenced the damage list run I did in quite a while, and I referenced it earlier in this run. Anybody who saw my damage list run of Pokemon Let's Go may remember a moment in Koga's gym where I took damage. And it was because of this little thing called Obedience. So Obedience matters for traded Pokemon because it matters for Pokemon that you did not catch. I did not catch this Diglett or Dugtrio now. So it will not obey me if it levels up too high. The level cap for my experience or for Obedience is level 30. So I need to be careful to not hit level 31 early. Spoiler, I didn't have time to figure out a optimal experience route to not hit level 31 early. So we are going to risk Obedience on one fight, but there's a backup if things go horribly wrong. It's always 30 is the cap that matters, exactly. I think it's, in this game, it starts at level 10, and then it goes up by 10 every badge you get. So because we have 2 badges, it's 10 plus 20, so it's 30. BDSP, it's even worse, because I think it goes up by 20 every 2 badges. It doesn't go up by 10 every badge. $15 every 2, but yeah. All right. Something. OSHA violations. Don't stand on a chair. All right. Check that off the bingo board. All right, so let's look ahead at our catch rate, our catch count. So our catch count, like I said earlier, doesn't really fill itself out until after Rock Tunnel. Once you're through Rock Tunnel, you kind of have a good idea of what you still have to catch versus like you could skip. Current state of things, I don't need Ammonite. And I'm going to get rid of Ninetales because Ninetales would put me on an odd catch count. Which pretty much every Pokemon from here on out is paired up with another, so having an even versus odd catch count kind of matters. Realistically, I probably should probably do Ammonite over something like Coughing, just to like guarantee my catch count is done. But we'll cross that road when we get there. I like having the option of skipping something like that. All right, I'm actually going to do, this is a slight pivot. But if you understand how Earthquake works, it'll make sense. I'm also going to go out of my way here and grab this elixir. Dugtrio is going to use a little bit too many Earthquakes for me to want to... have to worry about it too much. So I'm just going to grab that elixir. The reason I grabbed this elixir instead of the ether earlier is entirely so I can keep God Menu. It's not worth the walk to keep God Menu. It's just, I just didn't want to deal with it. So my Dugtrio has very high attack, so I believe I should one-shot both Pokemon. Yeah. The Weezing can sometimes live. If it lives, you just slash it turn 2. The Weezing literally cannot damage Dugtrio. It's one of the reasons why having a Alolan Dugtrio specifically is really good, is because it is part Steel, and Steel is unaffected by poison. So the Weezing, I believe, only has Sludge and Toxic. It literally cannot touch the Dugtrio. In fact, it actually couldn't touch the Golbat either. So there we are. Okay, this is, anyone who is around in the One Controller days knows this is like the absolute hardest fight in the entire run. That is not a joke. And I have a plan. This is unrouted, is all I'm going to say. I generally speaking have a plan for this fight. Take that as you will. The reason I cannot just use the... Oh, fascinating. Oh, interesting. I didn't think I got one shot there. I thought I lived. All right. The reason I can't just use Dugtrio here is because this thing has Flamethrower, and I don't live Flamethrower. So let's go ahead and bring in the Golbat now. This actually may fix some of my problems in a weird and twisted way. Oh, that does nothing. All right, you have to be joking. How are you still alive, dude? I should have taught Crunch. Ugh. All right, yeah. So the no experience on Dugtrio was planned, but it was supposed to be the Golbat. I'm not getting any experience on Dugtrio. But now I do have experience on Dugtrio. I'm going to revive the Eevee. Perfect. We're going to Super Potion the Eevee. We're going to bring out the Eevee. Whole reason I'm keeping Buzzy Buzz is for this. I'm supposed to have Glitzy Glow up with the light screen so it uses Crunch and not Air Slash to flinch me. Anyway. Alright, there's Archer 1. Like I said, that was unrouted. I had like a general plan. The plan was supposed to be set up a light screen and do enough chip damage to the Weezing so that Earthquake kills, have the Eevee die, then have the Earthquake come out, like have the Dugtrio use Earthquake, then just slash until it dies against the Golbat. But like that just didn't pan out. So anyways, we're through Archer 1. The other really notorious fight in one controller is Ted, and you're not going to want to miss how we beat Ted. No one spoil it in the chat if you know or have an idea, but Ted is a notoriously bad fight in the one controller days, so we'll cross that road when we get there. But for now, we're just going to go ahead and set up another X attack. My God menu is wrong. It's intentionally wrong, I should say. All right. So we are through Hideout. We're through Hideout, and honestly, my pace is like not as bad as I was expecting. All right. So we still have to go through. We still have to go through the Pokemon Tower, which we're obviously going to be using Dugtrio for. And you might be thinking to yourself, Etiquette, you're like level 30, almost level 31 already. Why? Like, how are you going to beat Tower while still obeying? And luckily, not getting any experience for Archer kind of helps. But yeah, so we are going to we're gonna have to handle that somehow. If you have any good ideas, feel free to post them in chat. I have an idea of what I'm gonna do. Whoops. And that's going to be increase my obedience cap. Good job if you got the same answer. We're going to go ahead and actually do a gym. Not as Starmie. So traditionally, you're going to wait until you have Starmie before you do your different... do the rest of the gyms. We're going to fight one more gym here. Dugtrio is very equipped to take on an electric gym. So we're going to go ahead and do that. If everything went according to plan, I would have had to risk the Magnemite. The Magnemite I would have been level 31 for. And the only move it has that hits you is Sonic Boom. So it's very obvious if you're going to die. And if I happened to die with the Dugtrio, I could just bring in the Rhyhorn and drill run it. I'm not getting early ultras. I thought about trying to get a 4th badge in, and I just couldn't. I couldn't justify it. You do not get the Misty cutscene. I believe as soon as you leave Vermilion City, the Misty cutscene goes away. How did I get God cans? Excellent question. The cans are set in this game. They are always the same cans. The idea behind the puzzle in this game is not the traditional puzzle. It is actually by fighting the trainers, they reveal to you where the cans are. It's like in cryptic messaging, it's like one of the cans is not next to the blue can and stuff like that. That's why there's two cans that are different colors. And the trainers in there will tell you which ones. You could have the T by now, yeah. All right, so now that we have 3 badges, our obedience cap is now level 40, so we do not have to worry about obedience anymore. I'm going to go ahead and fly on over to Lavender Town to take on the Pokemon Tower. Also, to answer or to respond to a comment from Spider in chat, yes, I probably would have been fine if Eevee KO'd the Haunter, but there are 2 things. One of them I'm not going to explain yet, but the second is because I have Glitzy Glow instead of Batty Bad, Glitzy Glow is not going to KO the Haunter at level 26. But there is a different reason I wanted to fight Surge now. Oh, they do the same. Well, either way, it wouldn't have KO'd. It happened! It finally happened! Oh my god. Alright, chat, listen. So before the Let's Go tournament, I started using different Joy-Cons, and these Joy-Cons have this issue where they, like, latch on to the cardinal directions. It's why you'll see me going, like, straight up, straight down, like that, way more often than, like, slightly off. And ever since, literally before the tournament started, when I was doing all of my practice runs, I have not had that lady turn right since then. She has always turned left, and because she has turned left, I'm just not confident enough with these Joy-Cons to do the skip. And she finally did it. She finally turned left, and I wasn't prepared. All right. All right, so we're going to grab these Ultra Balls. These should be the last Ultra Balls we're picking up. I haven't used any yet, so we should have exactly 13 of them. We're not catching a Haunter. No way, no how. Ghastly can spawn here. I haven't seen one. I'm not too beat up if I don't catch one. Like I said, my catch route right now is actually pretty solid. But If there's one here, I'm going to go for it. And for this, I'm going to Nanabit. Switch to the Ultras and hopefully get a Great. All right. So with a Great... Oh, mine was razzed with a Great. Whatever. It's fine. Probably like 70%. $77, perfect. How am I doing on evolution count? So I've got... So for the end game, you can obviously only have 6 Pokemon in your party. And so once you're done with the catches, you need to have the Starmie, which is like your main Pokemon for the rest of the run. Spoiler. Starmie, Rapidash, which is going to be your ride Pokemon for the rest of the run, as well as all of the Pokemon you plan on evolving. So you really only have space for 4 evolutions. As it stands, I'm going to be trying to evolve Psyduck, Doduo, and Coughing. So I do have room for one more. So if the... what's it called? If the Ghastly, for example, like doesn't evolve by the time I'm done catching, I'll still have room for it in my party, which is totally good. Krabby also still has to evolve. It's got one more level on it. Oh, I was looking at my splits. I'm like, why did I lose so much time? It's because I fought another gym. Like, how did I lose 2.5 minutes? Oh, man. Okay. So let's go ahead and bring the Ghastly in. Get rid of the Golbat. We don't need the Eevee anymore. Bye, Eevee. Everyone say bye to Eevee. I'm going to play it safe and use the lure later. Bum, bum, bum. Eevee is very OP in this game. That's why we used it for as much as time as we did. The main issue is the next compulsory battle that we do will be level 45. And the Eevee is level 27 right now. Like, the game... As much as people call this a baby game, this game ramps up in level if you are not expecting it. Which, granted, we do things a little bit out of order, but even if we weren't doing things out of order, the next area you're supposed to go is Silphco, which has battles in like the 36, 37 range. Like, it just completely falls off because of level. So I'm going to go ahead and pop my lure while I'm in this guardhouse. That was the optimal menuing. If anyone's trying to learn this category, please follow that. Ponyta. Ponyta is the most important most important Pokemon for us to find on this route. Because Rapidash is going to be our ride Pokemon from here on out. Yes, that's where I wanted to throw, game. Alright, we're fine. Experience no longer matters. How much experience we get for a catch no longer matters. It is all about catch rate. Go ahead and use a rare candy here. This is going to give us the Rapidash. It's worth mentioning on Pikachu's side, they would oftentimes use Arcanine, and Arcanine is like a faster ride than Rhyhorn is. It's basically the same speed as Rapidash, and so you'd be able to delay this and potentially just level this up naturally, as opposed to having to spend a rare candy on it. Which for one player, one controller, the rare candy is certainly a hot commodity. Alright, we're still looking for a Doduo and a Psyduck. I do not want to leave without both. I don't want a Dodrio. Don't need Eradicate. I should pick these up. Okay, there's a Psyduck. I really need a Doduo. Believe it or not. Could I use something that's not? No, I need Doduo. I'm not catching Dodrio. That just sounds atrocious. Dynam, I am not catching that in this category. I'm sorry. There it is. Dodrio is very bad to catch. Stop jumping! Good lord. I did have another option, but that wasn't Doduo, but I think waiting for Doduo was the correct play. Also, how is my Kingler still not evolved? Bum bum. All right. So now that we're here in Fuchsia City, we're going to go ahead and grab Sea Skim. Sea Skim is going to give us the ability to surf. Again, don't need the badges in order to use surf, so we're just going to immediately take advantage of that. Not fight Koga now. We can't fight Koga now. We still need 11 more Pokemon. 10 more Pokemon, sorry. I mean, I'm technically behind my... I mean, it's a little bit tough to tell because I've already fought Surge. But I am behind my PB, which was 2 minutes behind the 1P record. Oh, that was a... I, like, don't know Pokemon cries. $10.91, that's a very good CP. The best CP I've seen in, like, months. There's a couple evolutions. Love to see it. All right. The marathon runner in me really thinks I should just not catch anything else and just grab the Ammonite. However, because of the prediction, I will attempt to get a coughing. If it breaks out 11 times, we have other problems. But if it breaks out 11 times, then we, the over wins. 4 breakouts is honestly phenomenal. Like, I'm probably using way more raspberries than we used to, just because we actually know the catch rates of stuff now. But, like, it is not exactly like a guarantee. Okay. So we've now got our Staryu. Staryu is going to be our main Pokemon for the rest of the run. Go ahead and Waterstone, or grab the Waterstone, I should say. I, like, forgot how to go down this route. All right. Because, like I said earlier, rare candies are such a hot commodity, I'm actually going to go ahead and grab this rare candy. This one is not one you see literally ever, but this gives us the ability to do 3 candies on Star. I'm also probably going to have to candy Doduo. But I'm also tempted to just not bother candying Doduo and just dealing with it. Alright. So let's Raz here. Hopefully this gets in. Nice. Alright. Prediction closed. We had 4 breakouts this run. Which I think is, like I said, very, very good. All right. So let's go ahead and we need to bring a bunch of Pokemon into the party. This is a very good star. This is a very good star. I am okay with this star. Where were these stars in the Let's Go tournament? That's all I'm saying. I hate this game. All right. So one nice benefit of the fact that I have already fought Lieutenant Surge is normally we would teach Scald here and then have to teach Thunderbolt later on. I can actually teach Thunderbolt now and not have to worry about it. It's like a very minor thing, but it is quite nice. Yes, it is TED time. So this fight was absolutely notorious back in the day. So the traditional strategy for this was to set up an X defense or an X special defense. Starmie would take less than half. Set up an X special. Starmie would live. Hyper Potion. You have to pick up a Hyper Potion because you can't buy them yet. So you'd have to Hyper Potion, go back up to full, take less than half again, then Psychic to get rid of it. And all of that, you're trying to dodge getting paralyzed. I've got a Dugtrio. This thing can't touch me. Is dead. Now, granted, I'm lower level than I calced, but okay, yeah. Like, it's a 3-turn fight. Unfortunately, this will be the last we see of Dugtrio. The only other fight that I thought Dugtrio could stand a chance on was Archer. It doesn't deal with Golbat. Like, it just cannot handle Golbat at all. And it doesn't KO the Muck in one turn, so you'd end up having to deal with minimized stuff, so. But Dugtrio served us well. I don't necessarily think that Dugtrio is going to be the answer if we were to make a one controller category. But you know, I thought it fit. I thought it worked out pretty well. I was really struggling for experience on my test runs, and I was like, you know what? Experience doesn't matter if you've got Dugtrio. So grab that rare candy. I am going to play a bit safer than you would normally see from a Let's Go run. I'm actually going to go up to level 50 after Sabrina rather than level 49. That one extra level is going to help on just a few fights. Although this star is absolutely cracked, so maybe I don't even need it. And then escape rope out. All right, so we've seen a ton of Let's Go on this channel in the last month, but even this weekend. So Starmie really needs no explanation. Basically, Starmie, Water Psychic is phenomenal typing for the Kanto region. There's only one Pokemon that resists us that we're gonna have to fight, and we'll have a different way of handling it. We also get access to Thunderbolt, which is great coverage. And the only grass or electric type Pokemon that we face that would be dangerous to us are just way too low level to matter. We normally would fight Surge's gym. It's half our level, so it doesn't hurt at all. Erica's gym is, again, a bit higher level, but we can still one-shot everything without any setup. So that's why like Starmie is just such a good Pokemon for this game. It's got great stats. It being a stone evolution means it learns no moves, so you never have to worry about like canceling a move learn or anything like that. And it comes in at like the perfect level. So, all right. So this fight here, we're going to go ahead. I never swapped my X items around. At this point, I shouldn't. Normally, you get confused right there and have to heal off the confusion, but I got lucky and got Flamethrower. The rich get richer, some might say. And then, yeah, in terms of like one controller versus normal any percent, for the rest of the run, it's going to be pretty much what you expect from any percent. There will be a few caveats, and especially a few fights that are going to be way more dangerous than they need to be. But, you know what, we'll figure it out. Do not fly to Surge. I know. I've already fought Surge. Surge is dead to me. Oh yeah, please do play an ad now. This is like easily the best time. Erica's Gym, Psychic times 3, done. All right. I am gonna hold off on healing. So normally alongside the Thunderbolt, you would heal. I already have Thunderbolt taught, but I'm gonna delay healing just because I'm not exactly confident in how the blue fight is going to go, and I think I might take more damage, so. Alright. I do have to do a long monologue explaining what the cutest Pokemon is. I will go through the decks and explain why every Pokemon is the cutest Pokemon. I will wait until the gym leader music is about to start, because the gym leader music is the music that gets flagged in YouTube. And it's always Erica's gym, by the way. I don't know if anyone else has noticed that. It's never the other gyms. It's always Erica's gym. Although I think I have had Misty's gym one time, but it's basically always Erica's gym. I don't know if it's because like you're just never talking during Erica's gym because there's nothing to talk about, or like, I don't know. Whenever I upload a YouTube video, it's always Erica's gym. But to try to combat that, I will explain why every Pokemon on my Pokemon tracker is cute during the gym leader music to try and drown out the music so the automatic copyright claim does not take effect. And I realize I'm doing this long-winded monologue. I could have just done this during the gym battle and I wouldn't have to worry about it. But now I have to come up with more stuff to say. Anyway. Am I actually going to do this? My plan was to be like, why is Bulbasaur cute? Bulbasaur is cute because it's green. Why is Ivysaur cute? Ivysaur is cute because it is green. And that was going to be the whole bit. And I was going to try to do that for this entire fight. But I'm realizing now that that is a really bad idea because it's just going to take forever. And I'm just going to go through the entire dex and just say what color it is. And that does not sound like good commentary. So instead, I'm just going to keep talking and make sure that I am not letting the game music get through. It'd be easier if I just muted the capture on like OBS. Like I could just go to OBS and just like remove the capture and, you know, mute the VOD and no one would ever know. But it kind of defeats the purpose because like we're trying to get away with not having to mute the VOD. But if I mute the VOD myself, then that just defeats the whole purpose of this exercise. So I still need to keep talking. I need to figure out what I can say to follow out these like last 5 seconds right before she gives us a bunch of money. Rapidash, not now. Oh my god. All right, we're good. Anyway. I'm not gonna have a voice tomorrow. Alright. So now that we're done with that, unfortunately my Doduo did not evolve. I kind of knew it wasn't going to evolve because I wasn't getting 2 controller experience, and also it didn't get any experience. But that's okay. We're just going to go ahead and use it anyways. So this was the fight. I forgot to do the thing. Oh, darn. Anyways, this was the fight. 100% the one fight I was so excited about. That is the second Kadabra I've seen. What the hell? Anyway, this fight here is like the epitome of like what can you do with 2 controller, right? So traditionally, you do this fight with Doduo in one slot and Starmie in the other. And the first Pokemon that comes out is an Exeggutor. Starmie has nothing to damage Exeggutor, like, at all. But you can't give the Exeggutor turns because it has Power Whip, which would obliterate the Starmie. And it also has Light Screen, which is just... I mean, Starmie is a special attacker, so you don't want to get Light Screen. So instead, you use Doduo, or Dodrio, I should say, and you X-Attack and Drill Peck turn 1. And then the second Pokemon that comes out is Charizard, which Dodrio's not going to handle. So you instead X Special Attack and Scald using the Starmie. And so it's a really cool, like, oh, we can finally use 2 controllers. Or when we routed the fight, it was like, we can finally use 2 controllers. This is like the perfect fight to use it on. Because you want to use one Pokemon for one fight. Or one Pokemon for one opponent. And then another Pokemon for a different opponent. And, you know, it just worked out perfectly. The old strat used to involve either using Dodrio or Aerodactyl, and then KOing the Exeggutor, and then hard switching to the Starmie. So that's what we're going to do here. I'm only a Doduo. Doduo does not always 2-shot here, so hopefully we do, but if we don't, that's fine. Okay, we're definitely going to 2-shot. Anyway, as I said, the Rapidash 2-shots the Exeggutor, so we don't have to worry about any of that kind of stuff. And then we're just going to stand here, and we're going to hard switch into the Starmie. It's going to eat an Air Slash, I believe, but it should be fine. I was supposed to do a little chip damage, and we did not. So we're just going to do this, and we're going to go for our first... I'm going to heal first. Then we're going to go for our first Hydro Pump. Fuck this game. And that's how the fight goes. As you can see. Go for a second pump. Alright. Now we're going to go ahead and heal. Part of me just wants to leave. Why did I go into... Whatever. The Doduo will be fine. It'll revive itself. Why? Oh, I'm falling apart. Fun fact, in my very last run of Barrier Blitz, I made that mistake. I went to floor 7, and I was like, I'm going to use the stairs because surely that's faster. And I went down to floor 6, I went down to floor 5, and then I walked in front of the juggler. Because there's a juggler between the stairs and this fight if you go from the stairs, but if you go from the elevator, you're on the other side of it. Anyways, Archer 2, everyone's favorite fight. Archer 2 sucks. So this is a true double battle with Trace, your rival, as your partner. Trace's Cubone likes to not do good things. One might call him a bonehead. So what we're going to do is we're going to Psychic the Muck. Muck should go down this turn unless it uses Protect. Electrode is either going to use Self-Destruct, which it did, or Thunderbolt. Honestly, Thunderbolt no Protect is like kind of a pretty spicy fight. But we did get the Self-Destruct Protect. Unfortunate version of the fight. We're going to go ahead and take out the Muck. And then after we take out the Muck, it is essentially how many times does Raticate want to Sucker Punch you, and how many times does Cubone want to actually use a good move. There's the Sucker Punch. If we get Bone Meringue here, that's very good. Bone Meringue means if we... I don't even want to explain it. I'm just sad now. If I have more than 26 health, I could probably... I have less than 26 health now, so I should probably heal. Use Bone Meringue here, please. If it uses Bone Meringue and both of them critical hit, I should be fine. It did not happen. How'd you fail both of them? Oh, this Cubone is so annoying. And that concludes my Beat Archer 2 speedrun. Hope everyone enjoyed the run. Okay. Ugh. All right, so one more evolution and 2 more gift Pokemon, and then we should be all set with our catches. I don't regret submitting this at all. I've been saying this a couple times. I legitimately think this category has a lot of potential, and I kind of hope people get at least like a little bit interested in looking at it. I wish I had like an extra 2 weeks before the run, just so I just had a bit more time to prep. But otherwise, I mean, this has been going. Aside from the last, 10 minutes, this has been going very well. This whole run, so I really have no complaints. I really just need to figure out... I think I need to figure out a better Archer fight. And then I guess do Calcs on Blue, because apparently Doduo dies. Dodrio has to live. We used to use Dodrio. It has to live a Psychic. There's no way it doesn't. But anyways, yeah, so here's Jesse and James once again. I wonder if you should keep the Doug trio until now. Sure, just agility. I don't care. Is this gonna get obliterated also by Thunderbolt? I don't know if I've ever had a Doduo at this point. I'm so sad. I actually have to revive it now because I need it to get experience so it evolves. Out of revives. Should I buy? I should buy at least like 2 revives. I'm gonna buy a couple revives. All right. So one more Giovanni battle. This one is far easier than the last one was. Although the last one, honestly, with Dugtrio, it's like not bad at all. Go ahead and set up an X special. And then sweep with Scald. I'm just going to mark all the Pokemon now because I'm about to get them all. Thank you, thank you. Honestly, this still might be on 1 controller PB pace for me. Like, for me, it's not record pace, but I think this is better than a 311. I think. I'm technically behind my PB by 1.5 minutes, but I don't know how I'm... Like, a 227 should be a 301. I don't know. Or a 217 is a 301, so a 227 should be a 311, yeah. Caroline's not the problem. Don't forget, I can't use the second controller. There are other way scarier fights than Caroline. Naomi is the problem. The other problem? Alright, chat. We are part of the meme block. Do we want to meme or not? Extraordinarily bad idea, but I need to decide before I shop. No. There's like maybe 2 people that in the chat that know what might know what I'm referring to. All right, I'm gonna buy for it just in case. I'm gonna buy for it just in case. If I go over the estimate, I apologize. No one pay attention too closely to the shop I'm doing. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, Amber, I was saying that I you know, there are other scarier fights than Caroline. And someone mentioned Naomi. I was like, Naomi's a problem as well as some others. And then I was like, wait a second. I have an idea of a fight I can make a problem. There's a fight that isn't a problem. I could make it a problem. So, all right. I should buy a couple revives just in case something wacky happens because I have 0 revives right now. So let's go ahead and buy that. Where are the revives? They're right here. I'll buy 2. Wait, why do I have so much? That's fine. I do not need to buy X. Did I buy X speeds? I'm not supposed to buy X speeds. I already have them. What's funny is I'm not supposed to buy X speeds. My notes told me to buy X speeds, and I just didn't listen to it. It's not like I saw it and was like, "Oh, I'm not going to do that." I just didn't see it. So if I was supposed to buy them, I didn't. My X item menu is going to be all over the place right now. That's okay. After this fight, we'll adjust my X item menu so it's good for the rest of the run. I didn't really mention it, but one of the things... So in battle, you always have all of your like healing items at the top, and then all of your X items and stuff at the bottom. And what we try to do in the early game, and we end up doing it in the late game as well, but to a lesser extent, is we try to set up what's called God menu. Throughout the Eevee and Pikachu sections of the run, you are constantly using both X attacks and X specials. So you want one of them to be assigned to the slot when you hit left once in bag, and it goes to one of them. And then the other one is going to be in the slot where you go up in the bag once, and you hit that slot. I kind of messed up my God menu, but it didn't matter because... this route barely uses any X specials on the Eevee section. But we're going to set it up so that way X specials are the last slot and then X speeds are the slot next to it. Because those are going to be the 2 primary X items that we're using throughout the run. But yeah. Sabrina's fight is relatively straightforward. It all is kind of hinged on what turn you get light screen on. I got light screen turn 1, so it's the standard fight. It is possible to go completely light screen-less, but it is very unlikely. And if you get light screen turn 2, you just kind of have to stall a turn. Not a big deal. Make sure you use Thunderbolt. I was going to say, my experience route is very off because I didn't get the experience from Ted and I did not get the experience from Surge. It's going to be fine. I can do the first fight in Koga's gym. I can probably do Koga as well without using the rare candies. But I do have 2 rare candies, so I want to wait because I want to get to level 50 going into Giovanni's gym. Being 1 level higher than standard is just really nice. Okay. Let's go ahead and deposit. We no longer need any Pokemon in our party that are not fighting for us or giving us utility by being a ride Pokemon. Go ahead and heal ourselves up. I'm going to delay the elixir Normally you would elixir in this menu. However, I am going to not do that. Go ahead and do that. I don't want a candy. I was literally just talking about it. And make our way down to Fuchsia City. You know what? For the fans, I'll do early teeth. Lapras is a ride Pokemon. This is fair. So is Dodrio. All right, and if we did everything correctly, and I marked all of my Pokemon, then we should have 50 Pokemon here. And we do. Very nice. All right, so here is Caden. Caden is certainly a fight. Hopefully it goes as well as it can. Good. So this fight can be really bad. Because he has Minimize, he has Toxic, he has Moonblast, which can drop your special attack. So you're really at the mercy of what he decides to do. Every Pokemon in this gym has Toxic and Protect. So we're going to end up seeing a lot of Protects throughout the run, or throughout the gym. We're really just at the mercy of what the game decides to do. Not hitting level 48 there is a little unfortunate. It's not that bad. Not that big of a deal. Because I could just candy after Koga. But I'm very lucky that I literally have an extra candy. So that way I'll still be ahead of experience route, even if I'm not able to candy early enough. Because usually we want to candy on the way into Fuchsia City. You can get away with candying after Koga, or after Caden, I should say. I don't think the experience route works if you do it after Koga, but again, I've got an extra candy, so I'm going to be fine regardless. It's just, there might be some fights that I was planning to have a little bit extra safety that I'm actually not going to. Cool. And I'm going to elixir after the fight, so I don't care what my PP looks like. That's the other thing, is you're generally trying to manage your PP usage in this gym. So doing things like using Scald on Pokemon, like Venomoth here. But I'm not going to have any issues. So I just have to get through this fight, and then I'll elixir after. And I'm somehow getting an amazing Koga fight. Wow. 0 protects on Koga. Okay. Well, I got protect from the first Pokemon, but... All right, I think this can sub 310. I think there's a chance this can sub 310. Record is a low 309, so I still don't think I'm on record pace, but... So we are going to go ahead and do a few things here. First one, like I said, is going to be Elixir, Candy, then we are going to Max Repel, and then head to Viridian City. All right, so Giovanni's Gym, this is going to be pretty standard, what you would see on a normal PB attempt. It is worth mentioning that there are a couple of safer strategies that we like to use when doing races or doing marathons that I am not going to be able to do. However, that's going to be fine. I do actually want to see... I did see I had 140 speed. That was what I was looking at, which is going to come in handy in a little bit. But I'm actually more interested in what my special attack is right now, so I'm going to go back in the VOD real quick. See if I can find it. Oh, darn. Okay. So, anybody who has ever run Let's Go has probably seen notes, right? That say something to the effect of, if you have 138 special attack on Samuel, you can Psychic instead of Hydro Pump. That is not possible with our current Candy route, but it has been in the notes forever. I think it's been removed recently, but like, that has been in the notes forever, and it's just an unobtainable stat value. I got fucked. No, the thing happened. Alright, well, it's over. I have to go fight a million trainers in the gym. I've never had that happen before. Die to Samuel? Honestly, not a bad idea. Can you go out the top here? I thought the spinner pad was in the way. Anyways, so for anyone who's confused, the reason why we want to fight, or that was so bad, is because the way you're supposed to do the gym is actually the way I just went. You're supposed to go through... you're supposed to go fight Samuel, then go and have the guy walk up to reveal the path behind him, and then you go all the way around the gym, and then you go and fight that trainer. Or then you sneak in behind him and you can get into the middle area. Instead, what you can do is you can walk up and talk to the guy from behind. Oh, you can walk up there, huh? Well, today I learned. But yeah, by talking to this guy from behind, when you end up walking in front of him, he no longer walks up to you, and so you can actually just sneak down and skip having to fight those two trainers. My sub 310 dream is dead, but... But yeah, it looks like you could leave through the top here. All right, so here's Samuel. I think what I was saying when I had things happen, this fight as well as the Giovanni fight, you would a lot of times in a race or a marathon see people play safer with 2 controllers. Obviously, not allowed. So I have to go ahead and do it the old-fashioned way, which is the faster way. You'll typically see people on PB pace doing it the way I just did it, as well as this Giovanni fight after this guy. I am going to save before Giovanni. Giovanni is one of like 3 or 4 fights that I'm going to save from here to the end on. It's not like it's a terribly dangerous fight. It is just one of those fights, if you get crit, you die. And so it is generally considered best practice to save for those in a marathon. As well, I do have revives. I would like to use those. Never, actually. So. And saving the game is mega quick. It's not like it's Gen 4. All right, so this fight, we are going to X defend because the Dugtrio does more than half to us. And then we're going to X special, and then we are going to sweep the fight. It does not matter what health I'm at the end of this fight. Generally, you want to be out of quick attack range from Pidgeot. However, I am going to have to be 1 controller anyways, so it does not matter. And of course, I've got a beefy star who is taking these hits like a champ, so I would have been fine. But that's okay. Okay, so are you all ready for some content? I alluded to this earlier when I was in Saffron. I'm going to save before the next fight. However, I'm going to do it in a way that you should never do it, but it's hype as heck if it works. So Rival 5, Viridian Rival, is a fight that standardly you use 2 controllers and you are basically beefing up the Starmie every turn. You have to use an X special to get rid of the Pidgeot. You then need to X speed, so that way when the Jolteon or Raichu comes out third, you're faster than it. Then you have to X special again because you can't KO the Raichu with only +2. You need to be +4. And so, you know, it's a lot of setup. And so the traditional way of doing this fight with 1 controller is to guard spec, X special ×2, X speed, and sweep. I am faster than the Raichu. I have 140 speed, which means I outspeed the Raichu. The Raichu has 139, so I'm good to go. Don't have to X speed. Now, if you want to, you don't have to, but if you want to, Raichu does go down to a +2 Hydro Pump. So, what you can do, if you want, is just X special turn 1. And then if you get sand attacked, I bought an X accuracy. So that's going to be the strat here. This only works because I'm fast enough. If you are not fast enough to outspeed the Raichu, you cannot do this because you will die to the Raichu, unless it misses Thunder. So we're going to go ahead and X special. If we get sand attacked, like I said, we will just X accuracy. All right, we are good to go. Easy. So that is the fastest Rival 5 fight you'll ever see. The nice thing is if you get sand attacked one time, and so you get sand attacked and then you use your X accuracy and don't get sand attacked again, the Hydro Pump is actually more likely to hit than if you didn't get sand attacked, because +1 accuracy, you'd be at +1 accuracy. So like it could end up working in your favor anyways. And obviously, if you commit to this version of the fight and you use the X special and don't get sand attack, you can still use the X accuracy. And if you don't get sand attacked again, then you're guaranteed to hit. So it's not as risky of a fight as it may seem. However, this next fight cannot be said the same. This next fight is probably the most dangerous fight in the game. This is a fight that even when you can one controller it, we almost always do two controller it. Just because it is that scary. So I do have a couple of extra X defends. That's one of the reasons why my shopping was, in addition to buying the X accuracy, it's one of the reasons my shop was a bit different than normal, is so you can have more than one X defend. But again, it's another fight I'm going to save for. I've done it, Fury, in a race. I have never bought the X accuracy for races, but I did do one controller rival in maybe last year, one of the races. Like maybe it was semifinals last year. It is a very good Hail Mary of a fight. Alright, so here's Naomi. The way this fight works is you X special turn 1, you get crunched, and then you hit a Hydro Pump on turn 2. If you have bad special, it's a range. Hydro Pump is also 80% accurate. And Crunch can defense drop you. And it has Sucker Punch. There are a lot of things that can go wrong on this fight. I'm not at full health. I'm so screwed. Sucker Punch here. You want a Sucker Punch because... dang. Alright. Easy. Yeah, the problem with the one controller rival is it only works if you outspeed the Raichu. If you don't outspeed the Raichu, you can't do it. All right. The rest of the fights here in Victory Road are not nearly as notable as Naomi. There are a lot of things that can happen that can like waste time, but not necessarily like danger like Naomi is. This fight is a great example. So the Juggler Nelson has a Hypno. Hypno has Hypnosis. It can use it. It cannot use it. Just a matter of what it decides to do. It did use it, but it missed because Hypnosis is, what, 60%? 65 maybe? All right. All right, gonna make our way through Victory Road. The next fight that you would expect me to do is actually a fight I'm going to skip. So there is this lovely Ace Trainer guarding... Oh, you can't see her from this angle. but there's a ace trainer guarding the pathway onto this raised platform. However, she can actually be skipped by doing some careful movement. Her name is Alexa, so it is aptly named Alexa Skip. I kind of showed it off earlier with the weird spinner pass on Route 8, but trainer vision in this game is very narrow. And so even though she should see us, we can actually sneak in right below her like we were never there. And fight a different ace trainer. So this is ace trainer Caroline. Once we're past Caroline's first Pokemon, it's not even a fight. But we have to set up an X special, and we have to hit a Hydro Pump against this Jinx, who can freeze us and can also put us to sleep. Like that. That is my first status item I've used this entire run, including Blaine. I haven't used a single status item this run. I'm actually... No. I was going to try to be cheeky and heal, and then she'd die to the burn ticks, but if she puts me to sleep, that would be bad. I will have to heal before the next fight. Oh, actually, another thing I did not mention. So, it doesn't say it on the screen, but typically when you're watching a Let's Go run, it's going to be any % NMS. NMS stands for no mount skips. It is not no major skips. It is no mount skips. And mount skips are only really possible here in Victory Road. They're technically possible everywhere, but it's only possible to do when you have access to a Rapidash or an Aerodactyl, which, as far as the speedrun is concerned, is only here in Victory Road. And essentially the way that they work is the trainers have very narrow vision. Their vision is like 25 pixels wide. And would you believe it, Rapidash and Arcanine move, or Rapidash and Aerodactyl move at 26 pixels per frame. So it is possible with very precise lining up and very precise angles to get past trainer's vision, where you're on one side of the trainer vision on one frame, and the next frame you are on the other side of their vision. This requires essentially to have special Joy-Cons. There's not really nothing special about them, except they're bad, to be quite honest. Which is why we have it split out into separate categories, but all 4 of these trainers would be skippable. Technically speaking, this run was not submitted as any % NMS. However, it's the category everyone plays. No one does any %. Wow, good thing I healed. And it's worth mentioning, it was found by mistake by a runner named Cruel, who found it on Dawson. Basically, there was something about the way that they snuck past Dawson, where like the mount, we for the longest time we thought it was like the mount like coming into play, because there's a really narrow passage right before Dawson and then the ladder on the other side, and so it was like, oh, Rapidash spawning is what caused it. And a few people were able to replicate it, and like there was even, you know, runs that were done that had it. But Sandy Beach and Etchy both found, did most of the legwork to find actual setups for these skips. And so today, if you were to see an any % run, they would have all 4 of them would be skipped, and it would be very intentional skips. It's not just YOLOing it. All right. So we are on to Victory Road. Again, from here on out, this is basically the same as a PB attempt of any % or any percent NMS. The fastest way to do the Elite Four is to not use 2 controllers ever, so that is what we're going to be doing. I will be saving for Agatha, Lance, and Champion, just because there are bad things that can happen on all 3 of those fights. But other than that, just sort of going to cruise our way to the end here. I need to make sure I heal and deposit Rapidash. Can't use 2 controllers anyways. Why do we need Rapidash? The only small thing that might happen is because I've used the extra candy, I might get friendship turnarounds early. The reason I say might is because I also didn't do a gym with Starmie. So it might counteract each other, and we might not care. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know when I'm going to get turnarounds. Oh, my star is absolutely cracked on the special attack side of things. I do not need the chip damage. What's the special attack to Scald Jinx at +4? It's like 140 something. I probably have like 138 or 139. 142. 142 sounds good to me. Thanks, Amber. Anyways, this friendship turnaround stuff I was talking about. So once your friendship hits 150, your Pokemon will start experiencing turnarounds, which is every time something like it hits a critical hit, or not a critical hit, it hits a super effective move, you heal it, it gets knocked down into like red health. Any of those things are going to cause the Pokemon to turn around and say something to you. So it'll be like, oh, Starmie thought that was cool, or I don't know what it says, but it says stuff. And each of those turnarounds takes about 2 seconds. So the standard route is going to have turnarounds happen on Agatha. It's possible using the standard route, if you use too many X items, to get turnarounds here on Bruno. Because I used an extra candy but died, but also missed a gym, I don't know if I'm going to get turnarounds here. Hopefully I don't. If I do, it's like 10 seconds lost. It's not a big deal. Well outside of feint range. And then we're going to go into Agatha. So Agatha is a very interesting fight. The way that we're going to be doing it here is... No turnarounds, nice. The way we're going to be doing it is we're going to set up a next special attack. And 9 times out of 10, Agatha is going to use Glare against us. Okay, so Glare is going to paralyze us. Then, turn 2, we're going to set up a next speed. Agatha is then going to crunch us. Deals about half damage. Then, we're going to full restore, healing the paralysis, healing our health. Agatha is going to crunch us yet again. And then, we're going to be all set up. We have +2 special attack, +2 speed, and we're just going to sweep the fight. That is the standard version of the fight. That is what we're hoping to see. Like, realistically hoping to see. And if that happens, everything is good. Bad things can happen if she does not use Glare turn 1. Good things can happen is if she uses Glare turn 1 and we get Power of Love. In addition to these turnarounds, there is also a 10% chance on every turn, 10, 20%, 20% chance on every turn that we have a chance of shaking off a status ailment. So even though we get paralyzed by Glare, there's a chance that Starmie gathered all its energy and is ready to go. And if that happens, it changes the fight a little bit, but it is generally considered better because you don't have to worry about using the full restore. So let's see how this goes. X special attack. Glare. Perfect. X speed. Best version of this fight is we get Power of Love on this turn. We did not. That's totally fine. Go ahead and full restore. I don't have any turnarounds. Okay, that explains why I didn't get Power of Love. Can't get Power of Love if you don't have turnarounds. I don't have turnarounds for Agatha because I died so many times. God, I hate this game. It's worth saying this is a very good thing. Like, I'm saving 10 seconds because I'm not getting any turnarounds on the fight. But the game is still dumb. I can still say that. Leveling up a fight early, which is totally expected. 145 special, that is totally high enough that we don't have to worry about any issues on Lance. Sub 310, this is not sub 310 pace. 0% chance. I don't think it's PB pace. What is Agatha to the end normally? I like legitimately just can't think of it. My PB is a 31111. So I think I'm gonna be like a 313, assuming no issues. But I mean, there was so many things that happened. This can easily be. I could see a 306 in this category. So Lance and Champion are very similar fights. What we're going to do is we're going to set up an X special defense. Then we're going to get the rest of our setup off and just hope that a certain 1 in 24 chance doesn't happen. All right, we're good. Because it's not a category. It's not something anyone has ever asked for. Once we went to 2 controller, we never went back. And the only reason it's on the Japanese boards is because that was the category that the Japanese community paid more attention to at the time. But most of their runs are on their wiki as opposed to speedrun.com. Yeah, this Dragonite here can sometimes be a range. My special attack is quite high, so it's not going to be a problem. So there's Lance. And now it's time for Champion. So Champion, structured very much the same as the Lance fight. We're going to set up an X special defense. And then hope that the Pidgeot does not do nasty things. Luckily, this Pidgeot does not have Sand Attack. It is the only time the rival's Pidgey does not have Sand Attack. Go ahead and save one more time. It does have a 4th move slot. It should have Sand Attack, in my opinion. Make the fight 100 times worse. It's a really spicy avoid. One more. If I had better special attack, I could go for +2 Thunderbolt here. It's just not quite something I want to go for on this run. And we're through. All right. So that is Pokemon Let's Go with only one controller. I didn't even have to use the other controller to go into the home menu like I thought I might have to. If I had to reset or if I had to do the date advance for the rare candy. Like I said it a few times during the run. I think this category has a lot of potential. I think it would be a very frustrating run to do. So I fully understand why people don't. But I do think it has a lot of potential as a category. I think it's got some interesting things you can do. Obviously, I don't know if the Alolan Dugtrio is going to be the way. It's it worked on the short notice I had. I did not have enough time to prepare the way I wanted to for this. So, but yeah, I'm excited to see what my final time is going to be because while this did not beat my PB, I believe that this run, back in 2019 when we switched over the categories, this run would be 4th place on the leaderboards. Which is pretty wild. But yeah, I guess while we let the Hall of Fame sequence play, just as always, if you're enjoying the marathon, make sure you are following the channel. Make sure you check out the schedule. There are so many great runs that have already happened. There are so many great runs coming up. If you miss something or if you see an upcoming run that you can't make it, all the runs will be on YouTube soon. Over the next few weeks for sure. And definitely check it out. The PSR community is great. This is my 9th PSR marathon? 8th? I don't know. Oh, that's time, by the way. Whoever's running tech should know. There's been enough Let's Go on this stupid channel. But yeah, it's PSR marathon's always a good time. Definitely make sure you thank everyone running tech. I'm running tech, but don't thank me. I don't care. Thank everyone else running tech, especially Furious. Literally would not happen without Furious. Make sure you support him by watching the BDSP run tomorrow. That's a really fun run. But yeah, if you are at all interested in Let's Go or the Switch Pokemon games or any Pokemon game, make sure you go to the speedrun.com page for whatever game you're interested in and go to the Discord link on that page. There are different Discords per console, as well as the side games each have their own Discord server. So, definitely check that out. Tons of resources, tons of people doing all sorts of runs. No one's doing this run, but I hope that changes. And yeah, I guess I'm super happy with this run. I was totally expecting to go over estimate, so the fact that I got a 313 is awesome. Yeah, I think that's all I got to say. So just make sure you stick around and watch the rest of the marathon. There's lots of really good runs coming up.